The Amiga was a machine that could do it all: arcade action, cinematic storytelling, and of course, the unmatched complexity of a good flight sim. In the 80s and 90s, flight simulators were the first-person shooters of their day, technical marvels that pushed hardware to its limits. So grab your Wicco command controller and your aviator shades. It's time to look back at the top 10 Amiga flight sims. First up on our list is Flight Simulator 2. Sublogic, helmed by flight simulation pioneer Bruce Artwick, had already made waves with the original Flight Simulator, and this sequel aimed to bring the genre to a whole new level. The Amiga version, considered one of the most advanced ports, leveraged the platform's superior graphics and sound capabilities to push the boundaries of realism for the time. While Flight Simulator 2 may feel archaic by today's standards, its importance can't be overstated. It solidified the flight simulation genre, setting the stage for Microsoft's eventual dominance. A must-see for simulation fans and gaming historians alike, even if casual players might find themselves overwhelmed by its uncompromising approach. Number 9 on our list is a standout entry in the early flight sim scene, provided you have some beefy hardware. A-10 Tank Killer was both developed and published by Dynamics and released on the Amiga in 1991. Known for their work on a diverse array of titles like Red Baron and The Adventures of Willie Beamish, Dynamics approached this combat simulator with a focus on accessibility and action, making it a more approachable option compared to the hardcore sims of the era. The game centers on the legendary Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II, otherwise known as the Warthog. This aircraft was built for ground attack, and A-10 Tank Killer captures all the tank-busting action you could want. For those who love military aviation but aren't looking for a full flight manual experience, grab your accelerated A4000 and take A-10 Tank Killer on a ride through the skies. Number 8 on our list is Falcon, one of the earliest combat flight sims on the Amiga. If you earned your wings with Flight Simulator 2 and you're looking to get in some hot ship-on-ship action, you've come to the right place. The Amiga version takes full advantage of the hardware with detailed terrain, polygonal graphics, and a cockpit that feels as close to the real thing as you could get in 1989. You've got a full range of missions here, from bombing raids to aerial combat, and the difficulty ramps up nicely. Spectrum Holobyte and the Amiga partnered for magic here, creating a game that still commands respect in the flight sim community. Shuttle, the spaceflight simulator, is an audacious attempt to capture the sheer complexity of NASA's Space Shuttle program, and it comes in at number 7 on our list. Developed by Vector Graphics and published by Virgin Games, it promised to let players step into the shoes of an astronaut, meticulously planning and executing missions like deploying satellites and repairing space telescopes. While its ambition is undeniable, this one is firmly aimed at the hardcore sim crowd. Every aspect of the shuttle's operation is at your fingertips, from navigating orbital mechanics to operating the robot arm. The Amiga's graphical capabilities really shine with a beautifully rendered cockpit that mirrors the actual space shuttle's instrumentation. The manual, as you might expect, is practically a textbook, filled with diagrams and technical data that would give an actual astronaut a run for their money. Shuttle doesn't hold your hand. It throws you into the deep end of space exploration. But if you can devote the time to learning the ins and outs of your craft and are unfazed by some of the bugs in the system, Shuttle is a unique piece of Amiga software. And don't forget, the Amiga was a favorite at NASA.
So then Hal, I think, was the first one that brought out an Amiga. He snapped up one of the old 1000s, and we played around with it.
I showed it to Dave Brown in about a month or two. Didn't pass before Dave had one of his own.
FA-18 Interceptor is a landmark in flight simulation history, blending accessible gameplay with groundbreaking visuals. Released in 1988 and developed by Bob Dennerman, this EA game was one of the first to showcase what the Amiga could really do. It's also the only flight sim on our list to ship in that distinctive 45-style packaging, which means it had to be simple. No room for a 100-page tome in one of those slipcases. Gameplay is definitely more on the arcade side here, offering a series of missions ranging from intercepting enemy aircraft to landing on an aircraft carrier, a standout feature that tested your precision under pressure. The controls were intuitive but offered enough depth to keep sim enthusiasts engaged. A free flight mode was the real star here. It let you simply explore the Bay Area skies at your leisure, which was a treat for players looking to soak in the visuals without the heat of combat. FA-18 Interceptor wasn't just a technical showcase for the Amiga, it was the gateway for many fans drawn in by EA's reputation as a stellar publisher that showed how immersive and exciting flight sims could be.
This game hits us head on with an incredible intro from 1991, but my question to you is, what film does it sample? The game is Birds of Prey, and that sample was what I imagine would be a completely unlicensed sample from Top Gun. What this game is all about is choice. Where others gave us a hyper-realistic simulation of 1 or 2 planes, with this game you have a choice of 40, 27 from Western forces and 13 from the Soviets. We've got F-18s, MiG-29s, A-10s, we've got huge ones like the Bear or the Jumbo Jet, and we've got tiny experimental planes like the X-15. One minute you're scrambling for an air-to-air intercept mission, and the next you're dropping supplies out of the back of a Hercules, and then you're landing a Harrier jump jet, badly, backwards, on an aircraft carrier. Any landing you can walk away from is a good one, right? This is a lot of flight sims rolled into one, which comes with its ups and downsides. On the downside, it's slightly lacking in the atmosphere and storytelling department. I don't feel like I'm progressing through a campaign or my actions really matter. But on the upside, if you treat it like a flight sim sandbox, it's great fun. And you get to do all kinds of things like fly a B-52 and then jump into an X-15 slung under its wing and launch yourself to the edge of space. It's also a chance to try out the famous SR-71 Blackbird and set a speed record, or take a leisurely cruise on a 747. And all of this I enjoyed at the single-digit frame rate of a stock Amiga 500, just like this. Thank goodness then for modern emulation. Birds of Prey isn't going to make you feel emotionally invested like Wings, but if you want to see the largest selection of undercarriages in one place on your Amiga, then this is the game for you.
F-15 Strike Eagle 2 is a shining example of how Microprose brought the magic of their PC hit to the more powerful Amiga. This game was all about the graphics. The close-ups of your pilot and the aircraft are second to none. The game revolves around the iconic McConnell Douglas F-15 Eagle, a versatile fighter bomber. You take on high-stakes missions across Cold War-era global hotspots, from the Libyan desert to Southeast Asia. Sid Meier's influence is felt in the game's design. It's challenging, but never punishing. He had a knack for taking complex systems and presenting them in a way that felt approachable, and F-15 Strike Eagle 2 is no exception. Whether you're engaging in dogfights or timing your bombing runs, every moment feels exhilarating. It's about time we got to some helicopter action. Gunship 2000, developed by Microprose in 1993, is number 3 on our list. You got a full roster of choppers here, including the famous Apache and Black Hawk models from the movies, each with unique strengths and roles. One of the game's standout features is its squad-based gameplay. Just like in Rex Squando, there's no more flying solo. You're in control of a full heli squadron, and it's your job to coordinate their actions to dominate the battlefield. Gunship 2000 is another shining example of Microprose's knack for blending realism with playability, and remains a must-play for fans of tactical sims. Just stay away from the CD32 version. Controlling your helicopter with a joypad is no bueno. Knights of the Sky takes our runner-up spot. Set in the skies over World War I Europe, this game puts players in the cockpit of over 20 historic aircraft like the Sopwith Camel. Unfortunately, Snoopy doesn't make an appearance. Knights of the Sky pares its gameplay down to the essential World War I task, dogfighting against other pilots and to become the ace of aces. You can compete against 16 of Germany's best, including the Red Baron. When those opponents are defeated, you and a buddy can take to the skies and duke it out using null modem cable support. Knights gives you the feeling of really flying a World War I fighter, but it's not a true simulation. You can take off, land, and dogfight it up without opening the manual. If you're looking for a sim light experience, and I often am, give Knights of the Sky a try. Okay, I'm ready to don the flame repellent jumpsuit for this pick. I know Wings isn't a flight simulator in the classic sense, but it's a flight simulator in the best sense. The game doesn't just put you in the cockpit of a World War I biplane, it immerses you in the daily life of a young Allied pilot grappling with the camaraderie, triumphs, and tragedies of the Great War. The gameplay is split into 3 modes: thrilling dogfights, tense ground strafing missions, and precision bombing runs. But Wings isn't just about the action, it's about the journey. Through diary entries and cutscenes, this game puts you in the moment and makes you believe you are the character. It's about mourning the fall of your comrades, celebrating victories, and reckoning with the grim realities of the battlefield. Wings isn't just a flight game, it's an experience. It's a perfect blend of arcade action and heartfelt storytelling. It's CinemaWare's best game, and it's number 1 with a bullet on our list. And there you have it, 10 Amiga flight sims that prove you don't need a pilot's license to take to the skies. If you like this video, please give it a like. And if you want to hear more, check out my podcast, Amigos, Everything Amiga, or watch another Top 10. Until next time, adios.